Hello friends, and welcome back to another vlog. Today is Sunday, and it is a very lazy, chill Sunday. I don't have any plans, though I'm sure if I thought about things to do, I'd find things around the house that I need to do. But it's just been a really good day for sitting in bed and reading, and so that's what I've done all day today. I'm currently reading Over the Woodward Wall by A. Deborah Baker. This is a fictional book that is very important in Middle Game by Shauna McGuire. My friend currently has my copy of Middle Game, otherwise I'd be like, here it is, Middle Game. I really like Middle Game, and so I wanted to read Over the Woodward Wall so that I could understand it more. This being written by the same author who wrote Middle Game, but published under the fictional character who wrote this book. You know, it's a fictional book that has been published into the real world. And so, like I said, I wanted to read it so that I could understand the original book better. I'm about 70 pages away from the end, and I'm thinking of not finishing it. I knew going into it that I wasn't really going to like it. It's not really a children's book, but it's also not really a book for adults. It's like a book written for adults, but masquerading as a children's book. So the main characters are both children. They're going on their typical child-esque adventure that you'd find in any children's fantasy book, but the concepts and some of the subtle storytelling is adult concepts, and the wording is much more mature than I don't think a child would want to read this book solely because it's not written for children, but it is a children's book. I don't know how to make that make sense, but I don't particularly like children's books. I just don't like stories where the main characters are children, and so I already knew going into this that I wasn't really going to like it, but I wanted to read it just to enjoy Middle Game better. And now I'm 70 pages away from the end. I'm 130 pages in. This is only a 200-page book. And I'm just I don't really care, especially because this is the first book in a 4-book series. I know that by the end of this, we're not going to get an ending. You know, it still continues on, and I have read people say that the ending of this is a cliffhanger. I don't care for the main characters. I don't care for the story. I just wanted to know the references. But my problem currently is if I decide not to finish this book, 1, what am I going to do with the rest of my day? 2, I have some holds from the library that I need to pick up, but they're not ready yet. 2 of them are ready. There's another 3 that haven't come in yet, so I'm waiting for those other 3 to come in before I go out and get them. If I decide to put down this book, I'll need to pick up a new book, but then I'm expecting those holds from the library to be in tomorrow, so I need something that I can finish in one day. And what book is that? I don't know. Is it better to just not read a book? Probably. And yet, today's a lazy Sunday, and I just want to sit here and read. So I don't know what my plan is, but that's what I've done so far today, and I'll think a little bit more on what I want to do. Okay, I figured it out. I figured out what I'm going to do with the rest of my day. I am currently on book 13 of 19 of the Ice Planet Barbarians series. I haven't read a book from the series in months, but I left off on book 13. And those books, I can finish them within like half a day. They're really short. They're like 200 pages long each. And I really enjoy them, so I'm sure I'm gonna have a lot of fun reading it. But that's what I'll do with my lazy Sunday. I will read Ice Planet Barbarians. Okay, well now I have a problem because I just finished the entirety of Barbarians Lady, the 13th book in the Ice Planet Barbarians series. And now I'm like, I want to read the next one. I want to know what happens next. If you don't know what this series is, I guess I'll give you a brief description. It's about these girls that got kidnapped. But I think me being so smiley about it is so funny. These girls got kidnapped and are being sold as sex slaves in a space sale thing. I don't know. It takes place in space. They got kidnapped by aliens. They take over the ship, kill the aliens. They crash land the ship on a random planet, and they're trying to figure out how to survive on that planet when they meet a bunch of people who live on that planet, also aliens. Well, there's like 90% of them are guys. There's only like 2 or 3 girls in the entire village. And so it's an entire series about these girls trying to survive. Each book has something like kind of scary happening with it, whether that's the local wildlife is trying to kill them, or there was like an earthquake, or problems with, in one of the books, like the slavers came back to try and pick up their merchandise. And so they had to deal with that again. Like, each book is just a new problem for these girls to face, and it feels so weird to say because it is most popularly known online as the alien porn series. Like, that's what everybody knows about it. And yeah, that's correct. But I just really like the plot, the world building. I love seeing what's going to go wrong for these girls next and how they survive the next thing. This book was really interesting because, like, the girls sometimes have these really big plots, these really big, like, problems that they have to face. This one was the main character of this, Kate, and one of the barbarian guys, Herrick. They went off in this other direction from everybody else on top of this, like, bunch of ice. And the ice cracked, and Herrick fell, and he, like, almost fell to his death, full on, but he got caught in between pieces of ice, and he couldn't get himself out, but also simultaneously he had, like, really broken his leg, like, bone completely sticking out of it and everything, and he is afraid of seeing his own blood, like, he passes out. So it was very much not a good time for him, and so it was all about Kate saving him, him getting better, and then them, like, developing feelings for each other along the way. Like, it was very much, we've had bigger and more terrifying plots than this, so it was kind of a nice little step back. Like, sometimes our problems can be entirely from us and not something else messing up with us. The next book is Summer and Warwick's book, and I really want to read it now because there's a little epilogue in this one. There's always, like, a little hint in the books as to who the next book is going to be about. And in this one, the very last few pages, the epilogue, was about they are in a cave, they're picking some fruit, and they see a spaceship come and land on the planet. And that's bizarre because, like, this is a civilization that doesn't have technology. Like, nobody comes to it because it's deserted and it's just not a great place to live. But the people who are on the planet can't leave because they don't have access to ships or any sort of technology. They don't have electricity, like nothing. They have fire. And so I really want to know what happens next, but also simultaneously, it's now time to start working on the gaming stuff. And I'm like, well, tonight is recording night. So technically speaking, I'm not gonna post anything tonight anyway, because I'm gonna be recording all the things, and then tomorrow is editing night, and that's when I post things. What if I just recorded and edited things in the same day? Do you think I could do that? I don't know if I can, but also simultaneously, I want to know what happens next. Plus, I've heard a lot of good things about Summer's story. I don't know why her in particular, but I feel like I've heard a lot of people talk about how much they like Summer's story, so I really want to read it. This is so sad. Why did I choose Ice Planet Barbarians as a short book that I wanted to read? So I'm 72 pages into this. And listen, I know you guys might not care, but I'm yelling. I'm screaming. 72 pages into this. We open with a random spaceship coming down and everybody being kidnapped. Not like everybody, because like half of the people went to the old, I forget what they call it, like the Ancients Cave, or just basically like the old spaceship that originally brought them here. But everybody who went there, except for our main character in this book, Summer and Warwick, they were all kidnapped. Summer and Warwick have to save them. They do. And then they find out that there's like some crates on the ship. So they go and they look to see what's in the crates. And it's more people. They said that there's at least a dozen in the room, a dozen crates in the room that they're currently in. And then there's another room full of them. And I'm assuming they're all full of people. Like, we have already had 3 ships full of girls. This will be our 4th ship full of girls. And I'm just like, that's a lot. That's so many. Oh my god, why does this keep happening? I upped the text size so y'all would be able to read it too. 16 human females and 4 alien males. Doing the math, I think originally there were 12. One of them died, so let's say 11. And then the next ship had 6, I think. And then the ship after that had 4. So that's 21. We've almost doubled our amount of girls who have been in this situation. I don't know what's up with the guys, because they don't normally go after guys. But it's just, that's so many. And not even in a that's a lot of characters sort of way, like how am I going to keep count of them all? But just like, that's so many people that this has happened to. Oh my goodness. I was debating whether or not I wanted to sit here for this clip, because I'm like, all of the light is behind me. Does that look good? And then I thought to myself, so yesterday just felt like a really good reset day, kind of. Like, today I feel very productive. I feel like I'm so ready to do all the things that I need to do. And I wasn't necessarily thinking yesterday that I needed a day to just sit down and do nothing, but that's how it ended up being, because it just felt nice. And I feel like it was definitely good. So here we are today. That does mean that technically speaking, the last vlog was supposed to go up today, and I haven't even edited it yet, so I'm about to do that. Here it is on this little thumb drive, but that's okay because this is more of like a hobby channel, you know? This isn't like I don't want to be too focused on this, don't want to put too much importance onto this. This is my channel for having fun and doing things that I want to do, and I just like vlogging as a hobby. So if sometimes we don't have a video where I just don't vlog for a few days, or sometimes we're a little bit late in putting up a vlog, that's okay. This channel's for fun. So I'm about to do that. I might also edit a video while I'm here for the video game channel that I have already like pre-recorded, but I didn't record anything last night, so I definitely need to record things tonight and then edit them and all that. And I'm thinking later I'll go and pick up the 2 library books that are available, even though the other 3 aren't ready yet, because it's been, technically speaking, it's been 4 days, but I did put in the request late at night, so it's been like 3 days, and they only keep the books for like 7 days before they restock them. So I'm like, I don't want to wait too long and then they restock, but also where's my other 3 books? They're from libraries that are like 30 minutes away. How long does it take to come to my library? Okay, so it took me 3 hours to edit last vlog, but to be fair, I was just kind of messing around with things and seeing how they worked, whether I like them or not. So the next time would definitely be quicker. I also really enjoyed the length of last vlog. Like I said in that vlog, I want these to be around 30 minutes, though if they get as high as like 45, that seems acceptable. And that vlog was 20 something, like 24 or 26, so definitely within the margins. So I did that. I took a shower. I'm gonna double check it on my iPad to make sure that the audio sounds good, because I'm still kind of iffy on that. I talk really quietly, and so I have to turn it up a lot. But then you also hear like background things of like clothes shifting, even though that's not really all that loud, or any random thing that goes on in the background, you would be able to hear it. And so I'm still trying to figure that out and what exactly I'm going to do. And another thing is my editing computer, my gaming computer is really loud, and so it's difficult to hear tiny details like that. I can hear my voice fine and like talking the major things, but little tiny details that you guys would be able to hear, I can't really hear because I'm too busy listening to my gaming computer's fans running. So I'm gonna watch that video on my iPad to double check and make sure that that all sounds good. But I got the library books, the 2 that were available. I also asked them just in case. I was like, do you guys have like any information you can give me on these other 3 books? And they just basically said, yeah, we can see that it's in transit, but we have no other information than that. And that's what I already knew. So I was like, okay, well, that's fine. You know, I wasn't expecting much, but also, where are these other library books? But the 2 that I got is Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands by Heather Fawcett. This is the sequel to Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, which I own physically. I really like this. I read it recently. It's about this girl named Emily Wilde who writes an encyclopedia of fairies. Like, it's very much what you see right here is what you get. But I really like it because I really like fairies, fae, Irish mythology in general, and this felt like a really good resource, weirdly. I really enjoyed how academic it was. I really enjoyed her own personal adventure through writing this Encyclopedia of Fairies. So I grabbed the sequel. No idea what's going to happen in here. When we left off the characters in here, they were about to like show off their findings. And so I don't know if we're going to immediately hop into that, or if we're gonna have another adventure somewhere, I assume. Don't know, but I'm excited to see it. And then I also picked up Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mehrer. I don't know too much about this one besides, like, I know a lot of people have recommended this book. I also really like that it has sprayed edges. I can't remember if every copy has sprayed edges or if it's just the first edition copies that have sprayed edges. I don't know what this is about, besides that a lot of people liked it and read it. Something about a girl who she needs a job, and somehow she gets a job offer with a villain, like a super villain, and she's just like her weird life being a completely normal person who's working for this super villain, and also like he's kind of hot. So she's kind of excited to continue working with him because, like, then she can keep seeing him, right? It's kind of silly, but I figured I'd try it out. There's a couple of other books in the ones that I haven't received yet where I'm like, I've heard things about these. I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to like them, but I'll at least try it out because it's a library book. But I will read those later because right now I need to record videos and do everything like that for the gaming channel. I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update. Okay, I just watched the last vlog on my iPad, like we said, so I could double check the audio and make sure that it all sounded good. And it actually sounded a lot better than I was expecting. Like, I expected a little bit of a hum in the background or a little bit of this, like, grossness. But it actually sounded pretty good. A lot better than I was expecting. So I'm happy with that. I put a lot of work and time into specifically the audio for that as well. So even better. I do have a few things that I want to work on and fix. It's mostly lighting, I think. There were certain clips that looked really good and there were certain clips that looked really bad, and the only real difference between them was what lighting I had, which for vlogs, it's difficult to work with lighting because, like, I'm not sitting down at my desk where I have a light shining directly in my face and I have the microphone and all that. It's much more mobile. So I'll have to figure out that and what I can do, especially because the camera that I use for vlogging, this one right here, is not a normal camera. Maybe I'll show it to you sometime. It's not a camera like what you're thinking of. Let's just say that. It's a stick. We'll see. I'll think about that a little bit more. But for right now, it's currently midnight 30, and I'm gonna read a little bit before I go to bed. I've recently been stopping recording at midnight because I've found that I'm a little tired in videos after midnight, and I think that tiredness messes with the recording. Like, I get a little stupid after midnight. I've been stopping recently and then just like reading or relaxing until 1 a.m. I'm about to pick which book that I'm going to read off of my library books, whether I do the Emily Wilde book or I do Assistant to the Villain. And I think I'm going to do Assistant to the Villain first, solely because while I've heard good things about it, I haven't like actually read it. I'm taking a bigger chance on this book and whether or not I'm going to enjoy it than Emily Wilde, which I've read the first book in the series of, absolutely adored. I'm sure that I'm going to love this. You know, I'd rather keep this for later and absolutely devour it than do it first and then have this and be like, oh well. I'd rather keep that excitement. I'm gonna get a little bit into this. I'll let you know how it goes, what it's about and all that. But one thing that I do need to keep in mind too is that I talked about books way too much in that last vlog. We need to talk about literally anything else. It does not help that I've already talked about 3 separate books in this video. I need to like stop telling you about the books I'm reading, but they're always so fun to talk about. Okay, I just finished the prologue and I'm obsessed with this book. I get it. All the people I saw online that were like, this book is really good. You're right, and you should say it. So, our main oh my god, I fucking love the frog on the back, I just now noticed. Our main character, Evie, she's walking through the forest when she sees what she thinks is an animal and it's like bleeding. So she walks up to it and it's not an animal, it's actually the villain, who I don't know what his name is. I don't know if she ever learns what his name is. She just keeps calling him the villain and like your evilness, which is kind of funny. Anyway, he's running away from the town guards, so now she's running away from the town guards, and they're just hilarious together. I don't know what it is, but it's just like somehow they're really funny together. Like, she makes a comment on how he's really pretty, like he's attractive, and she's like, this is unfair, you're not supposed to be pretty, you're supposed to be ugly because you're evil. And he's just okay. And then a little bit later she like puts her hands on both sides of his face to make her point that like he's symmetrical and he's so pretty and what the fuck, he's supposed to be ugly. And he's just like, your hands are on my face, are you enjoying this? Like, it's so stupid, but somehow they're so funny together. Anyway, as she's running away with him from the guards, she makes this like little tiny comment that she is looking for work, and he just sort of takes that as, congratulations, you're my assistant now. What an amazing opening. Like, I'm obsessed with this book, and I'm only 16 pages into it. That's insane. I'm also so upset because I'm getting tired, but I want to read more of this. Like, can I just never go to bed because I just want to sit here and read more? And yet I have to go to bed? I have to sleep? That's insane. That's not correct. Okay, I am obsessed with this book, and I'm only 60 pages in. I also can't remember if I told you that I was already obsessed with it. I know we talked about it, but I can't remember if I let you guys know that I was obsessed, but obsessed with this book. So I wasn't expecting any point of view changes at all in this, though maybe I should have, because every chapter starts with like telling us that it's in the main character Evie's point of view. So that does make sense. But we got a villain chapter from his point of view, and it's one thing that the main character finds him attractive, right? Like, oh, he's good looking, okay, whatever, girl. His point of view, and we immediately start with him thinking that she's cute. I'm obsessed with the dynamic, especially because he's so cold, distant, maybe. There's this one line, literally, she sneezes and he's like, every single bit of dust in this room is now my enemy. And I'm only 60 pages in. Can you, like, what? Also, in other news, I got the email about an hour ago that my other 3 books are available for pickup at the library. I knew that if I went and I got this book, the 2 books that were available, that the other ones were going to be available next day. And I was still just like, let me go and pick them up just in case, because I only have 7 days that they keep them for, and the day that I picked it up was like the 4th day, so we're getting kind of close. But I knew that those other 3 books were going to be available today. And sure enough, I got the stupid email, so I'm going to get them tomorrow, because I'm not going out today. It's election day. I'm staying here. I already voted. There is no need to go out in that madness. I'm just going to be reading this. So today is laundry day, and specifically it's sheets day. I always used to do this thing back when I used to vlog, where I would do a little like time lapse of me changing my sheets. So congratulations, you get that. But one thing is, I said once in a video on my video game channel that I sleep with my glasses next to me in bed. And people were going like, what the hell? Like, how do you do that? How do you not roll over and crush them or anything? So I just wanted to, by the way, the glasses are not the scariest thing I sleep in bed with, okay? Okay, so there's still a couple of things that I need to do around my room to clean it up, but I feel very productive for what I did. You know, washed and put away laundry. That's 2 whole separate things. Sheets, that's it. That's all I did, but it feels very productive. Oh, cleaned off my bed a little bit, too. You're so right. There's only a few things on my bed now, but it's like the important things that should stay on the bed, like the desk, the books, you know? I feel like I've done a lot. There's still a little bit more that needs to be done, but that's for another day. Pat myself on the back. I did a good job for today. I then read a little bit more of Assistant to the Villain. I'm almost halfway through. I haven't told you like any of the plot just beyond the characters. There's somebody who is like trying to bring down the villain, somebody who works for the villain, and so they're trying to figure out who that is, but I have no guesses at all. Like, I have no idea who it is. If they've been on page, nobody seems like a bad person. But it's very cute. I'm really liking it a lot. I did quickly read some people's reviews just because, I don't know, I got the feeling like I wanted to know. And a lot of people rated this like 1 star and were talking about how much they hated it and the humor in particular. And I'm like, what is wrong with you guys? They're like, oh, this is just like somebody trying to be funny, but they're not actually funny. This book is hilarious. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I get it. You know what? That's okay that it wasn't for you. This book is for me, and I really like it. There was a little bit here that I wasn't all that into, so it's not perfect, but I do still really like it, and I really enjoy the fact that it doesn't follow the typical 3-act structure. Unless it does later, and that was just like a tiny little bump in the road. But we had something bad happen between our 2 main characters. And that's not very typical of the usual storytelling 3-act structure that I've gotten kind of bored of recently. I just noticed that my shirt and the pages match. Oh my goodness. It feels like every book recently has been the same thing over and over again, and I think that's one, because of tropes and things being popular and wanting to rush forward and create new content that's those same tropes over and over again. But another thing is too, I just think like the 3-act story structure where something goes bad, something goes wrong, 75% of the way through the book. Like, every single time I can count on it. Something's going to go terribly wrong 3/4 of the way through the book. So something going wrong, even though it was kind of minor between our two main characters, 40% of the way through this book maybe, was like such a difference from normal. It felt refreshing. I've been trying recently to get away from reviewing books and doing this for a living, but you can still kind of tell that I used to do this in the past just by the way that I talk about books, I feel like. But now I'm gonna go edit some videos, kind of boring things that aren't gonna look good on camera. And so I figured that I might as well end this vlog here. Today's the day to end it anyway. And literally the rest of my night is just gonna be sitting in front of the computer editing videos. So it's probably for the best. And as always, I feel awkward ending videos. So thank you for watching this. I hope that you enjoyed it. And I will see you in a few days for the next vlog. Yes.